Hi, Beardos. Joe here, and we can't come to the phone right now because, well, we don't want to. So, leave us a message right here, and we will listen to it as soon as we feel like it. Bye! Hi, this is Joe calling in for my shift today. I can't come in because I'm a stupid bitch. Bye!
You've reached the Beards and Sundries podcast, where things get gay. And hilarious. You've made it past seasons 1, 2, and 3. Now, you've reached season 4, the hottest season yet. This season's gonna be the tits. Now, sit down, strap on, in, and get ready to laugh your asses off with your 3 bearded hosts, because they've been waiting all week to get you hot for this show. Now, welcome your hosts, Jay, Anthony, and Joe.
And welcome back.
Hello.
Hi, I am actually here.
Welcome back to Season 4, Episode 5 of Beards and Sundries.
Splendid.
Oi.
Oi.
That's right, guys. It is time for another lunch break here at Beards and Sundries, the shop where 3 gay men with beards do inventory on a new sundry in each episode.
My name is Jay, and I too will slightly inconvenience 2,200 people if I get too cold and against some ice.
Slightly inconvenience. People died, Jay.
What?
Slightly.
Is that inconvenient or not? Just slightly.
God. Well, I'm Anthony, and unlike Molly Brown, I am quite sinkable.
Boom. And I'm Joe, and if a bulkhead doesn't go all the way to the ceiling, is it even technically watertight? And that means that today's sundry item is Titanic Reimagined. Now, Beardos, the Titanic is arguably the most famous shipwreck story of all time, made even more so by the 1997 cinematic love story. Today, we're going to imagine ourselves on the ill-fated luxury liner and fantasize how we would have done things a little differently. Later on, step back in the courtroom for another session of Judgy J for game time, but before we get too far into it, how about this week's voicemail?
Thank God you
They
showed up at
called
work
me to
today.
cover his shift, and I was like, ugh, no. But they
So
told me I
fucking
had
really
to,
not.
or I'd get fired. So I showed up, and you were here too. And they still made me work.
The 4th member of Destiny's Child was supposed to dog sit for me, and she finally showed up.
I still don't know who it is.
Well, we're glad you're here, Joe, and we're glad that you left a voicemail since nobody else did.
Is that
too real?
officially a bingo box that we can
You know
check
what?
off now?
This will come
Tripping
out.
about the voicemail.
Yeah, this will come out after February 1st, so yep, we'll mark it down. That will be easy.
Take that, Beardos, and none of you are getting that on your cards.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure it doesn't show up on anyone else's.
Just ours. Well, Joe, do you think you can find sundry items at the bottom of the ocean where the Titanic is wrecked at, including the remains of billionaires?
That was almost a second square we marked off the new bingo card with you're almost forgetting to ask me where sundries are.
We normally talk a lot more before I get to that point, and I have a moment to think about it.
Well, that's okay, because even on the shipwrecked Titanic, I think their sundries are all still duty-free. But if you guys are new to the show and you're wondering just what the hell a sundry is, the term comes from an Old English word meaning odds and ends. Now, today it's used mainly in retail as a way to group together items that otherwise wouldn't typically have a group of their own. So, as apparently 2 unsinkable gay men with beards and Anthony, we are using the term to group together the wide range of topics that we cover.
Just to clarify, I think as that submarine was about to implode, somebody probably dutied, so it's no longer duty free down there.
I thought the same fucking thing when he said that.
I know we've talked about that damn submarine at length, but really, a Logitech third-party game controller was supposed to pilot the whole thing.
It wasn't even a real PlayStation game controller? I thought it was
it was third-party.
He went into a Walmart and bought like 3 $10 remotes, corded, not even wireless.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's made for throwing around because we're gonna get wild in this submarine.
Oh my God.
Actually, I should stop calling it a submarine. It's a submersible.
Well, not anymore. It's not.
Was.
It's a sub. That's it.
It's been mersed, all right. It was the worst, and now it's mersed. Wait, it was mersed and in the worst way possible.
Does that imply that it's German? Because it's the worst?
No, I'm just implying that I'm glad the billionaires are dead.
Oh my God.
Oh, they sound cursed.
I saw this meme today that said like space billionaires, but it had it broken down as like space as an adjective and billionaires as a noun. And the guy's face was like really frowny. And then the next one said space billionaires, but like space was a verb and billionaires was a noun. And the guy was like smiling. Space billionaires.
God, I hate memes that make me think, but I love them.
I love it whenever they make me think for just 0.5 seconds. I'm like,
yeah.
Very clever.
I wish I remember what one I saw the other day that made me go, huh? Oh, brilliant. I'm like sharing it. I don't remember what
I'll have to go back and look.
There's this girl that's been on TikTok lately who's been doing like, do the first person that ever said so-and-so phrase, and like she then poses and she puts on a voiceover. It's like people reacting to her having said it. So one of them is like, be the first person that said after a while crocodile, and then she says it. She's like, after a while crocodile, and then she starts posing and going like this, and her voiceover is like, wow, oh my God, amazing. And then every single one of them, instead of the word 8, like that 8, she does like, what's 4 plus 4? Or like, what's 2 cubed? Or what's the square root of 64?
10 minus 2.
I just saw her today, and whatever phrase it was, she was just like, and then the voiceover was like, oh my God, she really said that. Everyone's so impressed. And it was just that echoing. And I was like, that is exactly what that is.
And she does like a reaction like Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But what a Titanic introduction.
Wow. That was the largest introduction the world's ever seen.
And so unsinkable.
Well, let's talk about the physicality of the Titanic itself. Now, by today's standards, it's a very small ship, right?
That's a baby fucking ship compared to
Yeah.
Really not big.
Like, I saw somewhere, isn't the Disney cruise liner, like, literally twice as long as the Titanic was? Something like that.
Seems right. I don't really remember. I just know whenever you, like, put a picture of the Titanic in front of any other modern cruise ship today, it just kind of looks like a tugboat.
Yeah, it was tiny comparatively.
Also, what on earth was wrong with them? No water slides. No regular slides. They didn't have
no
tons
elevated roller coaster.
Yeah.
No running
Guy's Burger Bar.
That was
no
my next
Blue
complaint.
Iguana Cantina. Like, no drink package.
Like,
No strawberry
What the
soft
fuck?
serve.
yeah, free ice cream wasn't everywhere. What the actual fuck?
No
But-
8-year-old in a hot tub with goggles on who's not getting out till you do.
And do you know in steerage, they all shared, like the women had their own tub and the men had their own tub and they all had to share it? I mean, no private
Well-
bathrooms?
No, on modern cruises, I hear that Atlantis cruise that just got back, I heard there were a lot of men using the same tub on that one. Is that pretty much the same thing?
Oh, yeah, that might be. Now that I think
they were
about
sharing more than tubs from what I heard.
It was a bunch of gay men on a cruise. Of course they were sharing more than tubs.
it. Anthony, I also think they were having a lot of piss pigs, but it wasn't your mocktail.
How dare they? It's patented.
You
You
walk
owe
up
me
to
money.
the bar. You walk up to the bar and you're like, "I'll have a piss pig," and the bartender's like, "I'm busy right now, bud."
I did hear a really funny story that one of our friends sent us, that a bunch of the pub community, like the people who dress up as pups, went to a showing of Cats on the ship, and they were getting in trouble because they were barking at the performers.
I couldn't decide how to feel about it. I still can't decide how to feel about it because I'm just like,
Like at first I was like laughing hilarious because like it's just so silly, but then at the same time like that's really rude to the performers.
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
yes,
my thoughts too. I'm like,
Service dogs, when they go to plays and shows, they don't make noise, even though there's cats on the stage.
these are not service dogs. Well, these are a different kind of.
They're service dogs.
Are service dogs. But here's the thing. I do feel bad for performers because I was a performer, so that's something I'm like, no, be respectful. But it's Cats. You have to know people hate what they're watching.
There had to be 3 people there who wanted to see Cats. This was my guesstimation. Like 3 of those people were there to
And those
actually
3
watch the play.
Those 3 did not bring their pups with them, and they're like, "This is outrageous. I wanted to watch this marvelous play."
They're just sitting there with their spy glasses and their show
monocle
wigs,
on,
and
yes.
sitting there. And
They brought their caviar.
I came on
bottles.
the Atlantis cruise to watch a show. Damn it!
I didn't know this was gay when I booked it. I've just been taking advantage of those amenities.
Imagine.
Could you imagine?
That you ended up on that cruise by accident somehow, and you're just
It's
like,
just
what?
it's Christmas with the Cranks Part 2. They're the only straight family on the entire ship.
Oh my god, Jamie Lee Curtis is running around going, "Oh!"
No, she wouldn't. She would be running around like, yeah, you get it, girl.
Actually,
Yeah.
she'd be
Penis.
running around and everyone would just be idolizing her, so it'd probably be the best adventure for her.
Right? Seriously.
Yeah.
She's like, "You do love a horror queen."
Anyways, on to the cruise ship Titanic that we were talking about. That was slightly less gay, but only slightly.
Just
So it set
slightly.
sail from London? Where did it set sail from?
Southampton,
Yeah,
Southampton, and it was heading
Yep.
for New York City.
New York City.
New York.
And its route went... Did it go further north than it was supposed to, or was that route just that far north? And then there was, like, unexpected ice? I can't remember the details of it without pulling it up.
So it did hit a couple stops to pick up additional passengers, and then basically what had happened was this is the time of year that the ice and cold water from northern Atlantic pushes down further south, and they just happen to come into the ice fields and not slow down.
Okay.
And so it was kind of a situation that made it where the waters were extraordinarily cold compared to usual. There was ice fields everywhere, and the water was extremely calm because I don't remember the term for it, but it made the iceberg even harder to see because you had no breaking water. But it also made the sky very clear because whenever you look back on notes about the survivors of the Titanic, they're all talking about how unbelievably bright the sky was with stars, how unusual that was. So to me, I
okay.
just thought that was pre-pollution days. So
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean,
assume
probably.
just, no light pollution.
yeah, no light pollution out in the ocean. So I mean, I remember seeing how gorgeous the sky was out in the middle of cruise.
Yeah.
I know.
Hell, that's what I'm looking forward to.
So, and it's really uncanny how close they were to missing the iceberg, because I've read theories actually also that if they had hit it head on, it would have done less damage and they wouldn't have sank.
See, and I read theories
the
on
way
that.
they hit it was that it scraped so many bulkheads that it just spilled the water over the top of each one like an ice cube tray, and that's what did
Yeah.
it in.
Well, the reason I've also heard theories wouldn't work out running right into it is because it would really break the spine of the ship where it'd crack in the center.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
so
that makes sense
it
too.
really depends, but yeah. Well, the problem with that ship was its rudder was too small for how large it was, and I mean, it was a lot of complex things caused a lot of issues, and it just was kind of the perfect trifecta of shit that hit the fan.
Well, then I mean, they didn't have enough lifeboats almost on purpose. It was a point of pride that they didn't need them, so they just didn't have enough in general.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same thing with the life vests? Like, they didn't have enough for everyone, and it was almost on purpose?
They did have enough vests, just not enough lifeboats. They had enough lifeboats for half, I believe. And that was laws back then. Like, they didn't worry about it. That shipwreck changed those laws, but...
Well, and a lot of those lifeboats launched with, like, 10% capacity or less than half full?
The first one
launched
launched
there was a lot of,
like 26 people
then.
when they held
my
65. God. I don't know why I know so many facts about Titanic, but here we go.
I read
a lot
of
somewhere that if they
had
been stowing away some surface-to-surface bunker buster. Yeah, that's it. That's the technical term. Bunker buster missiles. They could have blown up the iceberg before they hit it.
You know?
Well, if they would have had Baby Billy's Bible bumpers on board too, then they could have avoided the whole thing.
Yeah.
See, even then they were doomed from the start.
You know, if they had better restaurants on the top decks, there could have been other people out going, "Oh my God, we're going to hit that iceberg!" And they probably would have saw it sooner. But nope, those two guys up in the nest were just making out, watching Rose and Jack make out. I mean, whores.
That just made me think of that Carnival cruise. I think it was the year before last, where the tail fin caught fire and they had to bring in helicopters. Yeah, and then the next day they were playing Fireball on the Lido deck over the speaker system. People were like, "Is this too soon?"
I love. Well, that song always plays on a Carnival ship, so.
Well, yeah, white people.
Carnival.
So, if you guys were on the Titanic, how would you handle your lives there?
So, I want to go last because I've kind of prepared something that's mildly lengthy.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't, so should I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Mine is relatively short, but you guys can interject and have me add questions, I guess, if you need to.
I'll inject.
Exit only.
Not with that attitude, you won't.
I'm in there.
So with us going through and rewatching RuPaul's Drag Race from the beginning, we've currently started season 4. So we've watched a couple of Snatch Games. We've watched a couple of really great impersonations, some really great transformations. So if I had been on that cruise ship back then, what I would do is I would transform myself into the unsinkable Molly Brown, and then I would simply take her and make it so she was sunk, and then I would become her, and then I would make my escape and live out the rest of my days as the unsinkable Molly Brown.
I love that you picked this because technically I did a very similar, extremely similar thing.
Did I just Cliff Notes it?
Yeah, to a degree. I was going to say I wrote a little 1,200 word thing about it.
So basically, both of you are going to kill Molly Brown, and then you're both going to impersonate her.
Mine's not exactly the same, but it is really close.
What I'm going to do with her is I'm going to start from the outside and work my way in.
How?
And then they'll never find her.
Are you going to eat her?
No, ew. She's so fat.
What do you mean start from the outside?
But the fat makes it so good, Joe.
That's where the
that would
flavor's
make
at.
her unsinkable.
It's the marbling.
No, I'm gonna you know how all those third class passengers were stuck behind gates and couldn't get out and sank with the ship first and all that? I would make it so where her body would be in that area so they'd never find her. But then I would be her, and then it wouldn't be a problem.
I thought Joe was going to be nice and go down and save them, but he was going to walk down and he goes, "I'll open the gate, but first you have to lip sync for your life." And he has to dance against them, and if he wins, he's like, "I'm sorry, you'll have to sashay down."
It makes me think of the end of the movie where that poor little Irish family's there. He's like, "Irish family, Shantae, you stay down below."
Irish family, you are dressed up like a baked potato, but you are fried by the competition. And then, even though it's 1912, Michelle Visage is still there, but it's just her in like her
Oh my
whatever
God.
outfit, and she's like laughing evilly next to me, and then like it's perfect. Like it's the perfect crime.
Joe's like, your request to be saved was hot, but your delivery was freezing cold. Which will be soon.
Bye. And then I sashay
Just
away.
do. Wow, that's awful.
In your minigame challenge, you were struggling to stay above water, but on the runway, you drowned. Shantae, you stay on the boat.
Congratulations. You're the winner of this lifeboat.
Congratulations.
So there
Joe
you
gets
go.
on the boat that's mostly emptying, so he's just out in the water, just like
I can't
stirring up
believe-
shit.
You, like... I mean, I assumed you would do something with Molly Brown. I kind of thought you both would, but it's so hard not to pick Molly Brown.
Oh,
Right.
and wasn't hard for me. I went right off Molly Brown. Don't worry about it.
You just bounce right off.
I just bounced right off of that. Parkour! Ugh. Right off of her.
You invented parkour on the Titanic and became
The
famous.
Titanic. And on to my story. No, I'm kidding.
That's pretty much it for mine. I didn't really prepare a lot.
Oh, well, see, I was going to pull the Rose method. I was going to be a rude ass bitch. I was going to be married to my guy, though, because I want his money.
You
I
were
am-
going to, or you are going to? This is your
We're
plan?
listen, because now that's in the past, and so you'll hear why I'm not that anymore. Surprisingly.
Okay.
So I'm married to this rich man. He buys my ticket on the ship. I fall in love with someone poor because I have the money, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Okay, that makes sense.
We bang in a car. And then basically I don't jump off the lifeboat when I'm leaving. He's like, you jump, I jump, remember? And I'm like, no, lower away. And then I'm fine. That was my survival method because, marry the rich guy. So you like fuck him and rob him. And then we go to Wendy's or something. And then, yeah, that's it.
You know what? Wendy's is a great part of that plan.
I know.
Yeah, A+.
Thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely.
This is like
that's my survival plan.
this is like the fast food equivalent to ordering either a small drink, a medium drink, or the Parks and Rec's kid-size drink, which is approximately the
child
size of a
size.
toddler if you ground them up.
And liquefied them.
Whatever. Anyways, that is the. I thought
Is
we were
that how they got the name Frosty?
Oh my god, they didn't exist back then, and I walked in and I said, I just got off of a freezing cold ship that was sinking, and I just want some ice cream, and they're like, Frosty, we'll make it in white and chocolate.
So, but to be clear, at the end, you did get on a lifeboat, right? Like, you
Oh,
just,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
okay.
got on a lifeboat. I stayed on a lifeboat. I watched him hang off the back of the ship. He found that door I was on, but it sunk.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't going to
So-
keep the poor boy. I did not want him draining that money I just gained from my husband.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's one of those things where, like, if you did get married at that point, then, like, I don't know. I just if it's all a game, just get on the lifeboat. You know,
No,
you're a woman.
I'm
Who
trying to
cares?
protect my DeWitt Buchater name, and I can't fuck it up by marrying a Dawson. Did you see
Not
those
even-
rich people? They didn't even know who he was.
Not even from the Chippewa Falls Dawsons.
Are you of the Boston Dawsons? Chippewa Falls? Absolutely
Falls.
not.
Are you of the Creek Dawsons?
I don't want to wait for the
For my
boat
cruise
to be
to
sunken.
be sinking.
Want to get on the lifeboat right now.
As he's singing that, she's like literally being lowered, and she's like, "Hi."
And it's like Dawson and Joey, but Joey's just doing the. I'm so shy.
I hate that my brain just went here, but instead of the little band playing the song, the sad song, it's now the Dawson's
yes.
Creek theme song. going over the ship. So you're watching the same scenes, like people screaming and laying in their bed because they're not going to get off. It's like, I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
Hey,
why can't
the
I
band
eat it now?
playing the little sad song. You
The little sad song.
you mean the string
Sorry.
quartet?
Nearer my God to thee.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever they're playing. Now it's Dawson's Creek.
He said the little band that played the sad song.
My God.
She Hates Me by Puddle of Mud.
I was trying to sing that earlier to like test Joe's mic, and it wasn't working. Not the Dawson's Creek song, the She Hates Me, Puddle of Mud.
Oh, I was sitting there going, oh, well, I understand now why the mic wasn't working when you first tried it.
I would have too.
It's like, send me back. I'm broken.
I say that every day.
Ugh, it's like when TikTok's like, I'm sorry, your signals, or your signal's
network is unstable.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
bitch, me too,
I
I'm
get
still
it,
here.
TikTok. I'm still here and surviving, so deal with
Yeah.
it. Anthony, what was your survival plan?
Okay. I have a little bit more details, just a couple more details than you guys had in your.
Can I also interject?
You may at any point. In fact, I expect you guys will have questions about this.
Thank God.
So, my strategy is that I'm going to survive the Titanic as the unsinkable Molly Brown, or at least that's who I would pretend to be. Unbeknownst to the other passengers, I would actually be a stowaway who is Molly Brown's long-lost twin sister, separated at birth, the unhobbleable Annie Wilkes.
So,
Yes, that Annie Wilkes. And before you ask how Annie Wilkes is alive in 1912, mind your cock-a-doodle business.
I don't need to ask. Annie Wilkes is timeless.
so I'm a little bit disappointed with the story already because
Are you? Because there's a lot more backstory.
I really needed a Zelda Rubinstein moment.
Well, you're not getting it.
The story is still young, Jay.
So you see, long before the maiden and ultimate voyage of the RMS Titanic, and before the annoying fiddly-foof Jack was even a twinkle in his harlot mother's eye, I was born alongside the uncrustable Margaret Brown in a Filth, Missouri hospital. How do I know it's filthy?
Uncrustable?
The Uncrustable. Yeah, that's how she was known beforehand.
Is it because she was frozen?
Anyways, how did I know the hospital was filthy? It's Missouri in the late 1800s. You picture
Well,
it.
yeah.
It's Missouri yesterday. Of course the hospital
Yeah,
is
it's
filthy.
Missouri now.
Anyway,
It's Misery. Oh, I just made a connection with Annie Wilkes.
It used to be called Misery, and then they wanted to spice it up and call it Missouri. Wow.
Oh,
I get what's going on here.
I see. What's he cooking up?
We know what's going on. We've seen your
know
politics.
what's happening here.
well, anyway, due to a naming mishap and the doctors proclaiming me stillborn, I ended up with the Wilkes family. However, there was only one school in our little town, and I soon began to suspect that Maggie Brown and I were a little more than lookalikes. Also, we called her Maggie back then. Bet you didn't know that, did you, Mr. Man James Cameron?
So, okay, never mind. Keep going. I'll save these questions. Let me write them down as I go.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we got like at least like a page and a half left.
Another half hour.
Anyway, eventually that Oogie Mags moved west to Colorado with her siblings, and I tagged along. After all, I'm a sibling too. And so what if I was tagging along under their carriage in the cover of night? Now, I'm sure you're wondering what all this has to do with surviving the wreck of the Titanic, and we'll get to that in just a cock-a-doodle moment. Thank you. While old Margaret was busy marrying a man who would strike it rich by finding a huge vein of gold working as a miner, I was busy hammering railroad ties. Side note, J.J. Brown, who is Molly's actual husband, was literally an employee of a mining company, and when he found a huge lodestone, they gave him a bunch of shares of the business, and he was rich overnight. Could you imagine a business doing that for an employee today?
No.
But it's those same people going,
Wild.
you just need to be dedicated to your business and they'll treat you well. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
1800s grandpa. That's not how it works anymore.
Seriously?
My
Nope.
company's trying to find ways to take money out of my pocket.
Everything's been found already.
So anyways, now that Maggie's rich, she's all about cruises, which is how she, and subsequently I, came to be aboard the Titanic. Now, my original plan was to toss her over by convincing this sad teenage girl to throw herself over the stern and then use that as a distraction to send Molly over the bow. But then that dirty bird, Jack, went and ruined everything. So that was the first time he foiled my plans. But not to worry, this is the director's cut, and it's long as my Rudy Patooties.
I hate this.
You're welcome. So now I have 2 dirty birdies to knock out, but good thing old Annie Wilkes brought a bag full of stones. So I casually suggest to Billy Zane, or whatever his name is, that maybe he invite Jack to dinner if he won't accept a nominal cash reward for saving Rose's life. Wouldn't you know it, those oogies took the bait. Now, I just need to figure out a way into first class dining. And, excuse me, well, the answer was obvious, and you could probably already guess how I got into first class dining, but I'll tell you anyways. I disguised myself as the Countess of Roth. Oldest trick in the book, really.
Literally, the old one.
Yeah. Now, one thing you can bet on about rich people is that they hate poor people, and they also hate fat rich people. So I knew that they would sit Jack and, I knew they would be sitting Jack and Molly together. So this time I paid the waiter to serve Jack some poison caviar. Then, as the strongest person in first class dining, Molly would be tasked with throwing his body overboard before dinner could continue. I would excuse myself to go take a huge Countess Dookie, follow him out, and then push Molly over the edge right after Jack's poor, destitute corpse. Bingo bango, old Molly wouldn't just be sinkable, she'd be sank. It was the perfect plan. After all, what poor person could resist caviar? Well, apparently, one cock-a-doodle Jack Dawson, that's who. So at this point, a lot of stuff happens between Jack and Rose, and that's not really relevant to the real story here, which is mine. So I'll spare you the Kate Winslet boobs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I did do that scene in my life, too.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I absolutely got drawn.
Perfect. Good. Good for you. Good for your
It looks
boobs.
really
Good.
bad, though. Like, my fat
It's
rolls are...
just super lopsided.
Yeah. And, like, it was like James Cameron really actually drawing me, and my fat rolls are a lot bigger when he does it. I was very disappointed. Seriously, if you look at the film and watch his hand, that is actually James Cameron's hand drawing the picture.
Ew. I don't like that at all. It
I
feels
shit
weird.
you not. That's true.
Ew,
You look at it
the
and
real
you're like,
movie?
oh my god, those are old man hands. He literally
Ew.
studied how to do that so he could do that scene.
That's very Dan Schneider of him with Nickelodeon
Yeah, I don't like that at
teenagers.
all.
I
Very-
know. It kind of ruins that scene for me because now you kind of like watch like
What do you
I
mean,
don't know
kinda?
liver
I
spot
hated that scene
hands.
before.
I didn't like it before, but it ruined it even more. Like it kind of made the movie go ugh, right in that scene more than
Gross.
usual.
Ew.
Because I'm like, ew, Jack didn't have liver spots and old gray hairs on his hand.
Well, I was trying to spare you guys some Kate Winslet boob, but apparently we had to go into this James Cameron liver spot hand thing.
Thanks.
But back to the real
You're
story,
welcome.
which is my story, the story of Annie Wilkes. After craftily trying to off my fiddly foof of a sibling for another few off-screen hours that translate to about 24 real-life hours, and let's be real, it felt like 24 full cock-a-doodle hours between the time that fucking scene happens and the actual wreck happens. It's insane. I decided the best action was direct action. If I couldn't kill her using a series of overly circuitous plans like some turn-of-the-century Clue movie plot explanation, then I was just going to have to bring the whole Oogie ship down. Now, using my mastery of disguise and pro-level hammering skills, I destroyed every pair of binoculars on the ship, knocked out the night shift lookout, and dressed up as a perfect replica of him. Then, all I had to do was wait for an iceberg. The perfect plan. Sure enough, one reared its icy head on the horizon, and as I was about to use my rooty-tooty fresh and fruity hammer skills to take care of the other lookout, what would you know, Jack and Rose did it for me by playing fresh on the boat deck. So no one's paying attention, and I wait till we hit the iceberg, and then I wait till I'm off camera to make my move.
I don't understand. I hate this so much. But I also kind of want to watch it.
We're getting closer to the end. Everything gets a little more wrapped up. I got tired of this story.
I'm
really,
starting
halfway
to
through.
imagine it's like the airplane of Titanic.
Yeah, a little bit.
And like Leslie Nielsen pops out of somewhere and he's like, "We're all counting on you."
Well, so anyways, with my trusty hammer, I go after that ookie dookie sister of mine to take her out and steal her man and her wealth once and for all. And it didn't take me long to find her crazy hat-wearing tushy running down one of the first-class halls, looking like she just churned and ate a whole tub of butter.
Jesus.
So I come up from behind her, and I yell, "Dirty birdie!" And I swing my hammer, and I connect with her ankle, and you hear her crunch, and she goes down face first, screaming in pain. She falls on the floor. She turns over. I'm smiling. I'm victorious. I'm excited. And then, son of a biscuit, wouldn't you know it? It was Paula Deen and not her.
What?
However, that would explain the butter.
That's true.
So the ship is sinking quickly, and I'm out of time, and it's now or never, and I was feeling a little too fast, too furious. And if I couldn't steal my sister's identity, then I'd have to rely on my backup plan, which is a montage heist of the heart of the ocean in the vein of Ocean's 8, but I'm every character. So after doing several very real, but cut for time flips and stunts, I had the blue gold and the fruity patootie Rose left with a dime store stock candy replica.
The end?
Sometimes I wonder about your brain.
Yeah, no, not quite. We're almost there. So the bad news is my only escape disguise is of my sister, the super stinky Madge. But the good
Super
news
stinky.
is they don't exactly card you when you're getting on a lifeboat, especially if you're angry and rich. So I find the nearest boat with a small child taking up a little too much space, and I toss her off, and I take her place. Now, before you get all puritanical on me, Jay, she looked like a poor, and I was recently wealthy, and them's the rules of capitalism.
Totally
Rich
makes
escape
sense, yeah.
First. Also, Billy Zane, saves her later, so calm the fuck down.
Yep, Billy Zane sure does.
Yeah.
He does.
And so that is how I survived the sinking of the RMS Titanic as Annie Wilkes, as the unsinkable Molly Brown. When I reach shore, I hawk that big old diamond for a fortune and a half. I buy Eternal Youth from Isabella Rossellini, and I settle back in America to pursue my film career under my new pseudonym, Kathy Bates. The end.
I want to be clear really quick. I don't think Billy Zane actually saved that girl because he takes her, gets on the boat, but then the boat doesn't actually get lowered well enough. And so do you remember later on, he's pushing people off the boat. He's like, "You'll sink us." I don't remember seeing the little girl in that boat.
Well, shit, maybe he killed her too. I don't know. I was rich at the time and didn't really matter to me.
Sounds really Billy Zane. Yeah, so that was... Two comments I want to make. One, I kind of could imagine her just running down the decks to a lifeboat, just smashing ankles. And so you just keep watching people collapsing as she's like... That's a scene that popped in my head.
I kind of thought about that as well as a scene in there. And I don't know, it got cut for time.
Also, a scene of Paula Deen in a first-class hallway, and she's just laying on the floor because she has broken ankles. And then the ship just keeps, tilting because, it's sinking. And so then eventually she just starts rolling down the
though, this does lend to the very airplane-esque quality of this because, you see her from behind and you don't see her face until and he hobbles her, and then she turns around and it's Paula Deen, and that's a real classic subversion in the vein of Airplane.
And then you flip scenes, and there's someone on a lifeboat, and she's like, I gotta get out of here. And then everyone's like, calm down, you gotta stop, calm down. And then they're all slapping her.
They're all waiting with their tools just to smack her.
Oh, man.
So yeah, there's my overly complicated version of what Joe said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to cut the whole thing, cut the whole thing.
Our show's
We
20
wouldn't have an
minutes
episode.
today.
I
Oh, no. I'll be honest.
I thought it'd get more laughs than that, and it just did not. It fell flat.
What really
Didn't fall
happened
flat.
was I was just super intrigued because I'm like, where the fuck is this going to go? And so, like, I didn't really want to interrupt because I was trying to keep my brain a little focused on a lot of going on in there.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Because it
I was trying
very...
to keep a counter of how many times you said cock-a-doodie.
Yeah.
I tried not to overdo it. I put a smattering of cockadoodie in there.
I usually do the same.
It was very much a Tom and Jerry-esque version of Titanic.
Yeah.
Because it was just constantly trying to find a new plan to kill the mouse.
I mean, that was kind of the idea, was that it would be sort of Jack ruining my plans the whole way along, but then I forgot after the second time that they don't really ever interact again.
That's true. It's like after dinner, you don't ever... The only thing you hear is that he has the jacket of her son whenever they try to, or whenever they're arresting him back in first class.
Yeah.
I was borrowing it.
Anyways.
So back on James Cameron's hands. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well,
Ew, please no.
that was my fever dream of an escape plan.
That was a fever dream. I kind of wish I would have made that the second segment of the show. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
At this point, do we need a second segment?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, then let's do it.
Ooh, you know what? We should go on to break really quick. Hey, guys, we'll be right back, and we're going to talk about something hot and steamy.
You're listening to Jay, Anthony, and Joe on the Beards and Sundries podcast, the podcast rated 5 out of 6 balls.
So, Anthony,
Yeah.
have you had car sex in your Mustang yet?
No, not in my Mustang. I don't think I would in the Mustang. There's not enough space.
I just imagine like a steamy window, and because you have such long legs, like your foot would hit the glass and then...
There's not really a lot of glass to hit.
It would just be too... There's not enough... I don't know. Logistically speaking, I don't think it would work.
I can't imagine. I honestly can't imagine you fitting in that car in general, just because I struggle in cars.
I was going to say, have you been in my car?
I don't think I actually have been in your Mustang.
It's a lot roomier on the inside for the first... Like, for the front two seats. Super
I
roomy.
do
Back seat,
remember
absolutely no space.
I do remember my friend Jared had a Mustang, and like the front seats, you had plenty of leg room. But I remember going to pick him up once from the airport in it with my friend, and so I had to move to the back seat on the way back, and I had no leg space, and I had to sit next to the suitcase because it couldn't fit in the trunk.
That back seat is for insurance purposes only.
Yeah,
Yep. It is not there to be used.
it is terrible.
Well, I say that. It's there to be used for, like, I don't know, my ball cap that I keep in there and a pair of work gloves just in
A
case.
dainty jacket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For this segment, I just wanted to focus on the car sex portion of the movie because that was a pretty nice car to have sex in too.
Did they ever
It was
tell
a
you
Renault,
whose car
right?
it was?
If I recall right, it was somebody in America that actually ordered it, and it was a new Rolls Royce, I believe, of some sort.
Ooh, wow.
And so,
I
like,
think
it's
it
actually
was a
still down
Renault.
there. Was it that?
I think so.
Let me check.
What'd you say?
Oh, Renault? Is that how you pronounce
Oh.
it?
I think
Renault,
so.
yeah.
You guys know more about cars than I do.
Yeah, it was. You are correct. It was. It was a Coupe de Ville of a Renault.
I got this one. Boom.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow.
But that was a very, very, very nice, expensive car at the time. So
But have you guys ever had car sex? Like full on sex in the car, not just like
No.
Way back in the day.
Oh, really?
Oh, and a little Cavalier.
oh,
Was it your Cavalier?
Yeah, my little 2-door one. That back seat was also not made for that.
So I was dating a guy who had a Ford F-250
Oh,
extended
Whoa.
cab. Yeah, so we definitely had sex in the backseat. I accidentally broke the latch that held his sliding window on.
well, with those legs, yeah. You don't know what they're doing.
And with that latch,
fuck up.
definitely.
Yeah.
I had a Honda Element at one point that I don't know if it was like full-blown sex. I know there was fun back there because I know the guy that I was with
So you could spray it all out.
did the Titanic hand on the back window.
No
was
fucking.
your-
Oh, I'm going to do this.
Was your Honda Element red?
It was silver.
Oh, okay. Because the car is red in the movies. That would have been like even more authentic.
Oh, it would have been, but no.
But it was a box on wheels, so I mean, pretty close.
That is pretty close.
You can only do so much.
I'm kind of shocked I never did it in that Suburban because that was like literally a full bedroom.
It was the turkey smell. Couldn't get
Yeah.
past it.
That would have made me more hot. Actually, I'd have been like, "Oh my god,
Oh yeah, injectable butter.
you guys want to do this? Because oh my god, this turkey smell makes.
I want to stuff you like the turkey.
I'm gonna baste you so good back here."
I'm gonna put my injectable butter into you.
I'm going to start from the outside and work my way in.
Don't worry, I'm just gonna probe to see if you're done.
You're the insertable asshole Brown. I don't know.
Oh.
But there's a butthole joke in there somewhere.
There it is. There you go.
I see you left the genitals in.
God.
Giblets. Sorry, giblets.
That's worse.
A little bit of both. It could be both. You do two things.
I was like, genitals isn't right, but it's close enough.
You're right. Genitals isn't right, according to God. But speaking of genitals in the back of a Chevy Suburban, do you guys think it's time for a commercial?
God himself could not sink the ship, and yes.
I love how we went to break for like 2 seconds, talked about car sex for 2 seconds, and then we're on a commercial.
Well,
That's
you
usually how it
know,
goes.
nobody
What's
has
the
enough
commercial
car
called
sex.
again?
Oh, it doesn't matter. We can name it anything. I just said
Oh,
ice.
I thought you like had one for some reason.
So I made ice because it was just stuck in my head, but we don't actually have to use that.
No, I'm totally good with it. Is it just called ice?
Yeah.
Ice.
And now, for a word from our sponsor, ice.
It's the cold, hard substance used to chill your drink. Or to numb some pain. Or we could sink an entire ship with it. So if you want to feel a nice chilled drink or sink a ship, then go pick up some ice today, and you won't feel hot at all, because you have
Hey guys, make sure you follow and subscribe to our podcast so you can receive a notification every Sunday when a new episode drops.
You ever notice that ice doesn't sound like that?
Like in a glass?
Yes, it does. I've been to an AMC movie theater during the previews.
Listen to this.
Well, use a glass cup, you trash.
You're trash.
Use a glass.
Oh, mine doesn't even have ice in it. I think it melted.
Use a George glass.
George
It
Tropicana.
melted. How did it melt, Jay? That's a Stanley. Is it all the lead?
No, this is a Simply Modern.
Oh.
More
And
like
I
simply
also,
melted.
I also filled this way earlier. Simply melted.
Unlike that. Ice.
As you can tell, I'm starting to find more voice effects in my editing.
I was going to say, the last two commercials have been, like, the production quality has been a lot of fun.
It's been entertaining, and I'm also now trying, like, Logic Pro. I'm on a 90-day free trial, which is substantially better than GarageBand, so now I'm curious what I can really do.
Well, you know what you can do? Ice.
You can put it in a glass or sink a ship with it.
Well, anyways, do we have any Beardo submitted sundries this week?
Everybody's been really quiet this week, and I do not have anything that I can recall. If you sent something and I missed it, please refresh me and send it again.
I have one from Mom.
Perfect.
Hi, Mom.
So, Mom listened to our episode where we talked about everyone having that ringtone, joking about that, and she listened to that part, and she said, BTW, I'll be changing my ringtone and my text alert tone, you little wise asses, all three of you.
We're helping you.
Thanks, Mom.
How else would you keep up to speed with what the 40-year-old people are doing these days?
Yeah, isn't that like a call? Like if you hear that ringtone, you're like, "Oh, my people are here," and then you like run around the aisle, and you're like, "Nice weather today."
Like the gays
They'll
with the
just let
grinder
anyone
noise.
in here.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Does anybody have something to check out?
Yes, I do have something to check out. So this is not Titanic related. However, it's gay. So there's that. So what I had to check out this week is a book called Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. Now,
Oh, God, Chuck Tingle.
no, before you think Chuck Tingle, this is a horror novel that he has written. And it is not a sexual novel in any way, shape, or form. There are no anthropomorphic ideas or dinosaurs to have sex with in this. It is a straight horror novel that is surprisingly, or I guess unsurprisingly, good.
You did him. The son of a bitch did him. Sorry.
I recently listened to it on Audible because I have so much time at work, and I was a little wary, to put it mildly, because I didn't know what to expect, because we all know Chuck Tingle for his other work.
Yeah.
But it was well reviewed. It was it was rated pretty well. So I gave it a shot, and honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a good horror novel. I expected it at some point to take a turn to just become sexual, and it never really did, but it is sort of this, it's a horror novel that centers heavily around religion and people who grow up as queer inside of these really religious households. So that kind of hits home for me. And I know a lot of other queers who live in the Midwest who also that would hit home for. So, you know, there's some themes there. God damn it. There are some themes. I don't even know I did it. There are themes there that are very relatable, so I recommend you check it out. It is called Camp Damascus, and it is by Chuck Tingle, and yes, it is that exact same Chuck Tingle.
Well, thanks, Anthony.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to go read the other Chuck Tingle stuff now, just because.
Like, what other titles, Jay?
Yeah, Jay.
I don't know. Let's look it up.
How about Wordle pounds my butt as a slightly frustrating but ultimately rewarding and meditative daily routine?
Not pounded by anything. Space Raptor Butt Trilogy. Wow, that one sounds good.
Wow, he's got another one coming out called Bury Your Gaze.
Chuck's Dinosaur Tinglers, Volume 1.
Okay, I might...
These are all books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pounded by President Bigfoot. I'm going to have to read one of these. Buttception, taken by the gay unicorn biker. I want... Are they on audiobooks? Because I'm going to listen to it in the car. It's just going to happen.
I mean, sure. I don't know. I've never actually read or listened to any of his regular work, I guess.
Regular work.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. Pounded by politics. Breaking the fourth butt. Legally pounded.
Helicopter man pounds dinosaur billionaire ass. What the... I know that I knew what these were, but like I guess I've never looked at the titles that in depth before. Like
Trans Buckaroo Tales. Lesbian food gets me off.
Lesbian Buttageddon.
Dungeons, Dragons, and Buckaroos? Oh,
Buckaroos.
sorry.
That one
I
almost
thought that
looks
was
real.
I know. I was like, oh, I thought that.
No, I mean, it's
Buttageddon.
still Chuck Tingle.
Yep. But again,
Breaking the
final...
fourth butt.
Jesus.
8 hot to trot meta tinglers.
Scary stories to tingle your butt. That's the one I'm going to start with.
That just sounds like something Jay wrote.
I feel like I'm finding the niche market that I'm going to start writing books for.
Oh my god. The titles, and just the titles alone.
Okay, guys, just scary stories to tingle your butt. 7 tales of gay terror. In the dead of night comes a terrifying scream, not of fear, but of hardcore gay passion between a man and the gay Bigfoot that haunts his balls. If your butt is already tingling as ferociously as ours, then this collection is for you.
Haunts his balls?
Within you, oh my god, within you will find the following masterworks of modern literature. Bigfoot pirates haunt my balls. Vampire night bus pounds my butt. That was a lot to read. Angry man pounded by the fear of his latent gayness over a dinosaur transitioning into a unicorn. My ass is haunted by the gay unicorn colonel. The state of California stalks my gay butthole. The curse of Bigfoot butt camp. And reamed by my reaction to the title of this book.
Oh, man, what a way to wrap it up.
Chuck Tingle, you are my new friend.
Anyways, do you guys think it's gay time? Gay time.
It may be game
broke
time.
me.
Girl, it's always gay time in this break room, but I think it's time for game time from way back here.
Hey, and you can hear better from way back there with that mic. Oh, and guess what, guys? It's time for Judgy J.
Do you have your doily or not?
Order, order, order.
I want order in this court.
This is Judgy J, the court for gay law. The cases are real, the rulings are sassy. So tighten your corset and clutch your pearls. Judgy J is about to hear this week's case.
Dick. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are in Judgy J's courtroom because our prosecutor, Joe, has brought forward a case on behalf of the Chippewa Falls Dawson, claiming our defendant, Rose DeWitt Buchater, failed to take action in saving Jack's life. Today's hearing of DeWitt Buchater versus Dawson is in session. Joe, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to begin by stating that the defendant was a harlot, still is a harlot, and had plenty of room to save my client.
Anthony, you can do an opening statement?
The defense will not deny that our client was a harlot.
Oh, well, that was easy. All right, jury.
This doesn't define culpability for murder. Harlotry and murder are 2 separate crimes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
A dual guilty, that'll be the first for this courtroom.
Jury, our listeners, you will be hearing this case brought to you today And when it's over, I will conclude with my very official judgy decision. You can follow up by sending this court your opinions and case at beardsandsundries@gmail.com to overturn the case if you so choose. Joe, please begin with your questioning of the defense.
Now, Anthony, what would you say were your client's intentions when boarding the ship for the first time?
My client's intentions for boarding the ship the first time was that she was being forced into a marriage that she did not want to be a part of by her mother to save her family's fortunes.
Were they good fortunes to be saved?
I can't account for my client's accounting.
Wow.
Are you not on their payroll?
I'm doing this work pro bono.
For a boner.
Insert
Pro
ooh noise.
Anthony's doing this pro bone me.
Your Honor, does that constitute the 3 questions that the prosecutor gets to ask me?
Yeah, sure, fuck yeah, it's my court.
Oh, so it's my turn to counter.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Joe can keep going. Joe can keep going until he's done. I misunderstood what you said.
This is going great.
You know what?
All right.
Defense, fuck you. Joe's still going. Prosecution still has more questions.
Not to sound like Donald Trump, but I think I need a new judge.
Also, this court is not biased.
Anyways,
Anyone who says it is fake news. Joe, continue.
Now, Anthony, Rose separated herself from her family during a lot of the cruise. Do you think that could have been because she was seeking out someone to run away with?
prosecutor, my client attempted suicide. She was in very poor mental health when she boarded this ship.
She could have been better if she would have gotten a drink package.
And maybe stop
Drinks
at
were
Guy's Bar.
complimentary on the ship.
She didn't
And I
even try
would
the
like to
burger
point
bar.
out that, no, my client did not go seeking out another person. Your client, in fact, approached mine.
Now, I would like to say that many of the men on the ship were complimentary as well. Now, what was Rose's deal with that?
My client is not responsible for complimentary items on the RMS Titanic. She was not part of the staff.
It seems as though she was trying to be part of the staff many times, especially when she was spinning around willy-nilly in that basement party that she crashed.
She was invited by your client, prosecutor.
She said yes. She should have said no.
I'm sorry, does accepting an invitation from your client determine culpability in his death?
No, but my orange juice determines pulpability, and she is guilty in that aspect as well.
Your Honor, badgering the the defense.
Objection, gingerism, Your Honor.
Let me deal with Anthony's objection first, and it's sustained. But Joe, yours is overruled.
Thank you.
Objection, overruled. Being overruled.
Oh God, it's sustained now.
Prosecutor, are you done with your line of questioning, or?
For now, yes. Why don't you go ahead and try?
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead and start your questioning.
Prosecutor, may I ask you the nature of the charges you have brought against my client?
Thank you.
I'm simply trying to determine why my client, Mr. Dawson, had to succumb to the Titanic itself, when there was clearly many times where Miss Dawson, as she calls herself now, could have become married to Mr. Dawson here in the United States.
So you're saying, in your own words, that my client caused the wreck of the Titanic and could have married your client post-mortem?
I mean, sure, if she's into that kind of shit.
I just want to make sure that I have the implications that you have brought to the table correct. Now, prosecutor, in your own words, my client caused the wreck of the Titanic. Can you provide some sort of evidence for this?
Well, she did wear a captain's hat that she stole from a bachelorette party that she encountered while boarding, and then she made her way onto the bridge at some point. Now, she tried to use the car that was in the cargo area to get up to the bridge, but then she failed to realize that the bridge is not an actual thing connected to a road of sorts. It's actually the part of the ship where the captain lives, if you will. So her plan was foiled then, but that was only the first attempt of many that she made to do the damn thing, if you will.
Counsel, will you step up to the bench for a minute? What the fuck are we doing? Has she not? Are we not checking her to see if she's even like mentally capable of being at trial? If she's trying to take a car up into a bridge.
That's a great question, Your Honor. I'm not sure what the prosecutor has brought to the table here.
I mean, if you want to continue, you can, but I just want to make sure that we didn't need to stop and do a psychological evaluation.
I would like to go ahead and just ask one more question. Do you think, since your client is already passed, and you are here on behalf of the Chippewa Falls Dawsons, which their existence is rather questionable,
because they're not the Boston Dawsons,
that you couldn't bring charges against my client because your client has passed already? Does that sound correct to you, prosecutor?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Then that's no further questions for the prosecution, Your Honor.
Okay.
Wow. I guess, does the prosecution have any more questions before we go into closing arguments?
Yes, I'll direct it towards the entire court. Are you guys mad at me?
Yes, clearly.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Just disappointed.
That's worse. Your Honor, why'd you make me be the chief?
I like being the cheese.
You know, you could be a mouse if you want.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Wow, this case is interesting. Gentlemen, I'm going to let the prosecution start with its closing statements to convince me that you are better at this than Anthony. Go for it, Joe.
I'll just say this. Rose not only let go after she in fact said, "I'll never let go," it was in fact the next thing that she did. She let him go. And then she left the door that she wouldn't let him up on, and then swam over to a freshly dead corpse and stole their whistle, only to gain access onto a lifeboat for herself to save her own skin. And then only to assume the name Dawson upon her arrival in New York to become a fake bride to a man she never married, who she in fact let go of on that door on that fateful night, which is a totally true story, 1,000% real and accurate. That is all. Seacrest out.
Wow. Anthony, your closing statement.
Your Honor, by the official records of the United States of America and Southampton, England, the Rose DeWitt Buketer passed away in the wreck of the Titanic. I would argue that this all seems to be a fever dream of the prosecution. I'm not even sure how this made it to court.
It's 1,000% a fever dream.
Yes, by all accounts, this person that he is trying is passed away legally in every sense of the word. Any connection with a Rose Dawson seems to be purely incidental and absolutely not connected to Rose DeWitt Buketer from the Titanic. By all accounts, she is dead.
By all your accounts.
Wow. Is that it?
I mean, I don't know how you're going to hold a dead person accountable for anything, but yes, sure.
Anthony, this is America. We can hold a dead person accountable for anything we want.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony, have you ever heard of the word heirs? She's got a whole poor family back home that could use your money.
Where? In Chippewa Falls? I'd
Yeah.
like to find out who these Dawsons even are.
Well, you should have done your research. You could have submitted evidence.
I don't have evidence because they don't exist.
Sounds like a terrible
on the
defense
prosecution to provide the burden of proof is on the prosecution, Your Honor. Have you never been in a trial before?
Objection. The defense is
Not times
unprepared
like
for
this.
court.
You know, I'm going to be really honest. Joe had the worst questioning I've ever heard in my entire life, but his closing statement was a pretty solid one. Rose made a lot of lies and then got off the ship and lied and made Titanic falsify their records and say she was dead because she was just a big old liar. So she changed her identity and caused this whole problem.
She was lying on that boat. She was lying on the couch. She was lying naked in the car. She was lying on that door. And she's been lying ever since.
I would also argue that prosecution, you cannot prove that that was a door she was on. If, in
You
fact,
said it was a door.
No, you said it was a door.
No, you said I said it was a door.
I did say you said it was a door.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Rabbit
Hey,
season. Oh,
hey, Oh, man. You guys made this difficult because it was such a terrible case. But I'm actually going to side with the prosecution on this one because Rose is a big fat liar.
Oh,
I'm not even sure that I have a defendant, Your Honor, but fantastic. Great verdict. I did this pro bono. I'm out.
Pro boner. May the dick be with you.
And also with you.
Wow. That was an intense case of Judgy J.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to also let you guys in on a little fact that I've been Annie Wilkes the whole time, and I have a hammer. Getting hobbled, Judgy J.
Well, and that's
no.
Take
weird.
this, prosecution.
he's going to take over the cock-a-doodle courtroom.
And that's weird because I've been, if I can get this off, hold on. It's stuck on my neck.
Regular J the whole time?
No. No. Oh,
Objection. Terrible costume change, Your Honor.
Perry the platypus.
Why is this so hard to get? Oh, because I've been Zelda Rubinstein the whole time. This case was not clean.
Nobody in this case was alive.
Well,
Not
neither
the
is Zelda
prosecution,
Rubinstein.
not the defense, and not the judge. They were all dead.
Well, and you guys are dead inside, so.
This was a suance. This wasn't Judgy J. This was a suance. I sue you, spirits. I sue you.
Ooh, we're ghosts.
God. Anyways, I hear the that silly little band playing some music, so I believe it's time to go.
I don't want to wait.
But go call our hotline at 405-999-2242. You can do that by dialing on your phone. You don't even have to use Morse code.
And Beardos, it's time for us to turn left, but, earlier. So this week's lunch break is heading right on ahead to the end of its journey. If you'd like to help us out, go and subscribe to our podcast so you can get reminders every Sunday when we release a new episode. We also post frequent updates on all of our social media sites for any additional sundries that we add to the market.
And don't forget to rate us 5 stars and leave a review. Those reviews are what get us found by more listeners like you. Also, if each one of you could just, let the other person up on the supposed door with you, that would double our listening base.
Also, our website is not at the bottom of the Atlantic, so you can go check it out at beardsandsundries.com. You
We
can
don't
also
actually know that.
That's really true. It actually aren't there wires down there to Australia? No, I'm kidding.
There are.
Okay, so sometimes we're underwater. Anyways, also go check out our socials: TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook. Those are also above water. And email us at beardsandsundries@gmail.com.
So, from these three icy bitches here at the Beards and Sundries Market, make sure to...
Save yourself. I mean, love yourself.
Me first!
We're not gonna save you. Bye.
Ice.
But I thought the old lady threw in the ocean at the end.
I'm gonna throw you in the ocean right now.
Bye, Beardo!